Thank you, Chair. Can I just thank the Minister for his statement and a couple of points I just wish to raise on the statement. I welcome the ambition that comes through that statement and the desire to see the tourism strategy push for not just more visitors, but the different visitor experience coming into Wales, which is crucial. It is, my concern looking through it is, very often we talk about certain events, such as those footballing events, whatever. They seem to be, they're one-off events and people come up for once. And it sends me that there's a look very carefully at the one-off visitor, come once, not come back. And what we need to look at is the visitors who come back on day visits, on weekend visits, time after time, because of the experience they have here. And that, usually that's based upon activity experience, whether it's walking, or in my area, mountain biking, and other types of experience. So I'd like to see within the document, finalised document, a more sort of ambition to get those returning all the time, time after time after time. And we continue to offer them an experience, not just the same experience, but a varied experience. So when they come back, they actually have something different. And I'm sure that to ensure that there needs to be a strategic approach for the Welsh Government, local authorities and other bodies to work together to ensure that when someone comes, the experience they have in one patch isn't repeated somewhere else. And so there is something different somewhere else. It's not the same thing, just in another location. But we also need to make sure that, for mountain bike, for example, what's in the Avon Valley isn't necessarily the same thing that's in Merthyr or the same thing that's in somewhere else. There is something different. There's another reason to be there. And I think that's important. We need to ensure that the plan highlights that. And can you also make sure that it links to the economic strategies of local authorities and regions, and making sure that local authorities prioritise tourism, because my own local authority at one point got rid of its tourism officers, now has them back in, but it's a small number. We need to ensure that local authorities take tourism as a serious issue for the economic regeneration of their communities. The events, as I said, we need to attract those who return time. These are basically activity-led events. Now, most of what you've talked about are actually, say, an event, not an activity. The zip wire is an activity. And other things, the surf is an activity. These are what brings people to us. Now, whether it's just going for holiday on Tenby Beach, or whether it's actually coming to walk the different parts of Wales, that's what we need to address. How are we focusing our audience on those things? So when you talk about your plan, and when you talk about your digital and social media approach, can you make sure that you address those aspects and where those different activities can take place, so that we can sort of attract people to different parts of Wales, depending on what their interests and what their activities are. Now, the 4 priorities areas, I think, great products and places, quality experience, innovative brand, vibrant sector, they are what we want. I appreciate that. And the quality experience you examined, highlighted, the need for toilets and public toilets, actually is hugely important. Because if you actually go through many towns, you try and find some public toilets sometimes, and you can't find them. But visitors do need that, because they don't know where the local pub is. They don't know where the local McDonald's is to go and use the facility. So it is important that we have those, not just there, but they signed as well, so people know where to find them. So can you make sure that you look at those issues very carefully? And can you also make sure that we look at aspects of our communities? And in mind, whether it's Markham Park, whether it's the Avon Valley, whether it's Aberafon Beach. By the way, if you've never been there, fantastic beach, one of the best in Wales. Just go and have a look at it. But these different places to go can be linked up. And there are also possibilities of future development. We need to look at what they can offer in the future as well. And I'll highlight the Rhondda Tunnel as a clear example of how that can be linked into the valley walking, the cycling paths, the opportunities for regeneration. These are things we also need to look at. That's why we need to address this and partner it with the economic plan to ensure that the economy and tourism are working together to address those points.
Thank you very much, David. Well, when we came to look at the regional approach of the government and look at it in relation to the needs of tourism, I was very keen, as someone who had lived in mid-Wales for over 20 years and still represents a very important part of it in Meirionydd. Mid-Wales, by the way, is Meirionydd, Ceredigion and Powys, just in case, for the avoidance of doubt. I was delighted last week at the turnout for the first awards ceremony for Mid Wales tourism. And I hope to join Go North Wales, as again they describe it up there, at a further ceremony soon. Now, I mention that because it's an example of the distinctiveness of the offer in the different parts of Wales. And I do appreciate that the distinctiveness that we have to offer in Aberafan, indeed in Margam Park, or in those very different parts of Wales that still have very specific and very moving traditional buildings, such as abbeys and large churches and so on, which again is part of a spiritual tourism offer, which obviously I'm anxious to promote. So the visitor experience everywhere is important. But I also very much agree that cultivating returners has to be a key part of our strategy. People who will wish to come back again for a different experience of mountain biking in different parts of Wales, and I was inaugurating in Nantararian at the weekend another tourist area which is benefiting from a new mountain biking trail. And these activities, of course, it's not just mountain biking, it's also the walking, it is also the centres that are established there, and the sale of local produce. I'm still looking forward to tasting a very small bottle, obviously, of local mead, which I acquired during that recent visit. So it's all these things together. All these things together. So the... No, I'm waiting to consume it, I said. It's not disappeared yet. So the varied experience is the key thing. But I think the other important point is I do understand the difference between an event and an activity. And I know that it's not about promoting spectator events. It's also about participation in events. And those emphases are equally important in a broad and attractive tourism strategy.
David